I'll tell you a little bit about the book and then introduce these actors. The Backside of Nowhere takes place in the town of Freedom, Mississippi, which is a tiny little town near the Gulf Coast. And it has a complete history of the founding of the town, starting back in the Civil War and up until modern times. And it ends when a hurricane wipes the town out. Return to Freedom starts with that hurricane with some of the same characters and some different ones, and goes forward from there and takes place over mostly in 1 year time. We're going to do selected scenes, which means some of the scenes in the actual book, there may be 100 pages in between them, other things happening. But hopefully that'll be clear. I rewrote parts just for this so that some of the transitions will make more sense. After the reading, we'll have a talk back, questions, comments, and then a book signing. I'm looking around, I see more than half of you have already bought the book, so you can buy more for your friends. Okay, our actors. Pug Bujeaud, sitting here in the middle, is going to do the narration. She's going to read the part of the author.
We look so much alike.
Yes. And of course, they're all reading parts of Southerners, so we'll see how.
Yeah, you didn't tell me
You gotta
that.
bring that part
Michael's
up.
from Southern Tacoma.
I'm sorry, nobody here knows what they sound like anyway.
Brilliant.
So, in the order of appearance, Christine Goode plays the part of Marcia. Jennie Jenks plays the part of Beulah. Michael Christopher plays the part of Malcolm. And Heather Christopher plays the part of Malcolm's wife, Bitsey. So, the first scene begins with chapter 4 of the novel. It is 3 years after the hurricane that almost wiped out the little town of Freedom, Mississippi. Malcolm and Bitsey's son, Justin, was never found after the storm and is assumed dead. Although Bitsey holds out hope that he is still alive somewhere. The town has now been partially rebuilt. David Lawrence, who was a main character in the previous book, has built a new condo for some of the low-income hurricane survivors. Malcolm and Bitsey have moved into the new condo with their daughters, and so have Beulah and her 2-year-old son, and Sonny Staples and his wife. And we'll start with that.
South Liberty Street, from the southern tip of Freedom up past Dragon Head Cove, where it junctions with Freedom Loop, is a 2-lane road with a dirt shoulder so narrow that pedestrians and bikers, and the few joggers brave enough to chance it, are in constant danger from speeding cars. Not that runners and bikers are common sight in Freedom. Freedomites who are old enough to drive do not like to have to work for transportation. Not for fun, not for exercise. On the rare occasions that some health-minded souls do take a notion to go jogging along South Liberty, it is not uncommon for a good old boy in a souped-up pickup to swerve close to them and give them a scare. They do it on purpose. They get their jollies that way. None of them would purposely hit anyone, though Murabi did arrest someone for it once. The culprit was a teenage boy who'd been driving legally for less than 4 months. He was directly in front of Murabi when he swerved close to a bicyclist. Murabi could not ignore someone doing something so dangerous right in front of a sheriff's patrol car. He arrested him and charged him with attempted vehicular homicide. The kid was well connected and got himself a good lawyer. The case was settled with the kid's parents paying a hefty fine, and Murabi hoped that at the very least it would send a strong message to the other would-be offenders. North of the Lawrence store, there's a field of tall grasses off to the right. The grass leans sharply away from Little Bay, as if the stalks were afraid of the water, and rightly so, because these grasses have endured lifetimes of wind off the bay. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. The sun is already beating down on the pavement and is sparkling on the wet dew grass. It's gonna be another scorcher. Marcia Blunt pedals her unicycle northward on South Liberty, sitting high in the saddle with her huge mop of orange hair blowing out behind her. She spent the previous night camping out in her old VW bus in a field in the shores of Walker Cove. She doesn't timidly hug the edge of the drainage ditch when vehicles come close the way the other cyclists do, but rather pedals in the middle of the right-hand lane as if she had just as much right to the road as the cars, which she does, but she'd be hard-pressed to convince anyone else in freedom of that. Her bright red shirt and harlequin pants signal drivers to give her wide berth, and they do. She speeds past the Lawrence store and the new Booker condo and waves at Jennie Lou, who's walking to the bus stop nearby. She passes the marker indicating where Pop Lawrence had been buried. The plaque reads, "Earl Ray Lawrence was killed and buried here with the hurricane of 2008. In 2010, his body was dug up and reburied in Freedom Cemetery." Marcia darts through the intersections at Liberty and past the schools that face one another on either side of the street. Booker T. Washington Elementary and Junior High on the west side, and Lawrence High on the east. Prior to the storm, those had been rival high schools. Fights, stealing each other's mascots, and similar shenanigans had been as common as was dating students from rival schools. Having two high schools in such a small town was a remnant from the days of segregation. So, when they rebuilt after the storm, they converted one of them to a school for the lower grades, replacing the old and dangerously dilapidated elementary school, and renamed the remaining school in honor of Pop Lawrence. The school year hadn't yet started, but there were bunches of kids gathered on the lawns with rakes and shovels and lawnmowers. It's a volunteer work party. They all wave at Marcia as she speeds past. It isn't every day, or never in fact, that a clown on a unicycle drives by. A quarter of a mile north, she passes St. Michael's. Bad memories of a short time she attended First Communion classes. Another quarter mile north, Beulah is serving coffee in Little Don's when Marcia wheels into the parking lot and hops off her unicycle. Everyone in the diner looks up to watch her entrance. A stranger at Little Don's is unusual enough. Freedom is not on the way to any place else, so travelers stopping by there are rare. Plus, her brightly colored and outlandish clothes, not to mention her radiant if somewhat unorthodox beauty, and that shock of orange hair like a pom-pom perched on top of her head, Marcia's quite a sight for the retired fishermen and shrimpers and loggers who are Beulah's usual breakfast customers. She strides in with long and heavy steps like she owns the joint. She's almost 6 feet tall and sturdily built. She stops and stands with big hands on her hips, feet spread apart. Her face is pale and smooth as marble.
Hey y'all, what's cooking?
What you want?
I don't know, what you got?
We got eggs with sausage or bacon. With either one, you get your choice of grits or pancakes. The usual.
There you go. I guess I'll have me some of those eggs. 3 of them, over easy. Are they sausage links or patties?
Patty.
Well, good, that's perfect. Give me about 4 sausages and a cup of coffee, strong and black, and some V8 if you got it.
We got it. Coming right up.
Beulah places her breakfast in front of her.
Oh, thanks, sweetie.
Marcia flashes a toothy smile. Beulah notices her pale face is flushed pink, probably from the brisk morning ride. Her cheeks are puffy. Beulah thinks it's funny that she's dressed like a clown. With her rosy cheeks and big eyes, she even looks like she's wearing clown makeup, which she's not. She is, however, wearing bright red lipstick. Beulah can't stop looking at her. She can't figure out what it is she finds so attractive about this new person. Is it just her audacious manner? Her wild outfit? Or is there something else about her that looks familiar? Has she seen her somewhere before or known someone who could pass to be her twin? It's got to be something like that, she knows. Just can't imagine what it is. And then it hits her.
Oh my God, you're Marcia Blunt.
Well, there you go. And you're Beulah Booker. I'd know you anywhere.
It's been like forever. Are you living here now? What brings you here?
I had to get away from the city. It was closing in on me. I had to breathe fresh air. Miss the smell of crawdads and mud.
So you just up and moved here?
Yup, just took the plunge.
From where?
Nolans, a little birdie whispered in my ear that Beulah Booker was running her daddy's diner and I should stop by and say hello.
Well, hello then. Did this little birdie have a name?
Well, yes, he did. Abdul Taylor.
He's my ex. It's the father of my son. But I guess you knew that.
There you go. Ain't life grand?
Of course you knew. He would have told you. Were you like dating him or something?
Oh, Lord, no, I don't date guys.
Oh.
It's now Christmas Eve. Mid-morning at the Don Booker condo. Malcolm and Bitsey's oldest daughter, Jamie Lou, is in New Orleans with her new boyfriend, Abdul. Their youngest daughter, Molly, has gone shopping. The sun is high and the windows are wet with condensation. Malcolm doesn't have to go to work until afternoon. He gets on his computer and checks his email and plays around on Facebook for a while, and laughs like crazy over some clip from the Stephen Colbert Show, and later finds something he thinks is even funnier.
Come here, you gotta read this.
I just sat down.
She is plopped down on the couch and she doesn't want to get up and walk across the room to read something over his shoulder. He's always finding things on the computer he thinks is funny. Since she won't bother to look, he reads it out loud to her. It's a list of things to prove that you're a redneck if...
That's old stuff.
He continues reading to himself and chuckling out loud while she stretches out on the couch and picks up a romance novel she's carried out from the bedroom.
Don't you have laundry to do or something?
It'll get done. How come it's okay for you to waste time playing around on the computer, but if I lie down on the couch to read my book, all of a sudden I'm somehow shirking my duties?
I didn't say you were shirking your duties.
Yes, you did. You implied it, and that's the same as saying it. You think I can't read your tone of voice?
It's all right for me to play on my own damn computer because later on today, I'm going to put in an 8-hour shift at the Piggly Wiggly. And you can read your book. Go ahead, that's fine. Just enjoy the hell out of it. All I'm saying is please don't forget to do the laundry sometime today.
It'll get done. And the dishes too, without you nagging me.
It ain't gonna get done all on its own. I heard you were putting them posters up again.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's...
Don't you tell me it's useless. I gotta try. There's always a chance.
You're driving yourself crazy, Bitsey. You're driving me crazy too. You've got to accept the truth. Justin is dead.
Don't say that.
Well, he is, damn it. Why can't you accept it?
You don't know that.
Well, maybe not, but I know there's a 99% chance it's true. And I know that clinging to false hope is just going to cause us both more and more pain. Like, I don't want to see you torture yourself.
Oh, now you're worried about me? Well, that's keen. Funny how I can't tell the difference in being worried about me and being pissed off at me. How could I possibly be in more pain than I'm already in?
Well, that's why you've got to let it go. While you're pining over Justin, we're going to lose our daughters. They're just as good as gone already.
What do you mean? No, they're not.
They are, too. Wake up and see what's right in front of you. One of them is spending all her time off in New Orleans, and the other is out, growing up so fast she'll be out of here soon as well. And I'm losing you, too, little by little, day by day. I see you drifting further and further away.
She ignores that and brings the talk back to Justin.
You just don't care about him, do you?
Now, that's not true, and you know it.
You hate him.
No, I don't. Do we have to go through this crap again?
Yes, you do. You always hated him. He was never good enough for you. You fawned over them girls like they was the most precious things on God's green earth. All you ever did for Justin was criticize him.
Like all you do is criticize Jamie Lou and Molly?
You didn't like the way he dressed. You didn't like his haircut. You didn't think he was man enough. You were ashamed of him. That's why you didn't fight to make him leave town with us when the storm came. Because deep down inside, you wanted him to die in that storm.
Don't you dare say that.
You didn't love him. You never even liked him.
You know that's not true. You think I wanted him to die? My God, how can you say such a thing?
You didn't like him? You never thought he was good enough.
That ain't the same thing. Yeah, sure, sometimes I might have loathed him just in the moment. Sometimes I wished I could strangle him, but not literally. Yeah, well, so did you.
I did not. I never...
Oh, don't try and deny it. I remember the things you said about him, remember? Remember when he dyed his hair and you said you wanted to snatch him bald? Remember when he tried to take up the guitar? We were both ready to kill him then. You said you'd like to hit him with that guitar.
That was just kidding. You know that.
Malcolm gets up and starts pacing the floor. Bitsey stands up too. She grabs the coffee pot and pours more in her cup. Her hands are shaking and the coffee's gone cold. She spews it in a sink of disgust.
He drove us crazy. Both of us. He was arrogant and hard-headed and disrespectful, and we both hated the way he dressed and that horrible haircut. On that nasty kid he used to hang out with? Oh, crap, I can't even remember his name. Gossing John or Joshua or something, Gossing. Well, you know who I'm talking about. Look, let's face it, he was not a very likable kid. But we loved him in spite of all of that because he was our son. We both did.
He sits back down. He's emotionally spent but nervous and can't sit still. He stands up again, snatches a paper towel off the roller and wipes up the coffee Bitsey has spilled. They sit down and breathe deeply for a moment.
Do you even miss him?
Yes, I do.
Their
I
anger,
really do.
Their anger has dissipated a little now, and they're just sad. Outside, the sun has vanished, obliterated by the bank of dark clouds moving in from the north. They hear the drone of airplanes overhead. They've been hearing them all morning. Must be some sort of training exercise outside of Keesler.
You know, I thought for sure I saw him the other day, riding a bicycle down past the school.
I see him all the time. I see some kid that walks that certain way he had him walking and my heart skips a beat. I see a kid with hair down over one eye and I get a catch in my throat. I hear a voice somewhere behind me and I know it's him and I'm scared to turn around, but of course when I do it's always someone else and I feel like an idiot. I even turned and called his name once and it turned out the only person there was an old man with a long gray beard.
That guy that sells the crabs out in front of the Shell station?
Yes.
Me too. I did the exact same thing with the same old guy. It was the way he jiggled his keys, just like Justin.
Yeah, those keys. That sound, I clean forgot about that, but that's what it was.
The old crab man must think we're both Looney Tunes.
For the rest of the morning, they uncomfortably coexist. Malcolm fixes his own lunch.
You want me to fix you a sandwich while I'm at it?
No, I'm not hungry.
Their breakfast dishes are still on the table, egg yolks dried hard on the plates. Right before he leaves for work at 1:30, they get a call from Jamie Lou. Malcolm answers. Jamie Lou sounds so perky you'd think she was a 14-year-old and just got asked to the school dance by the most popular boy in school. It's something even bigger. She says, "Guess what, Daddy? I'm married!"
She's married.
To who?
Well, to Abdul, I assume.
Jamie Lee says, "Yes, Daddy, to Abdul." Malcolm reluctantly congratulates Jamie Lou and says that he and Bitsey hope to see them both soon. After he hangs up the phone, he says,
One down and one to go.
We're losing all our children.
We're not losing them, honey. They're just growing up. We have a new adventure to look forward to. It's called Getting to Know Your Daughters as Grown-Up Women.
At this point in the story, it switches to other scenes, and then much later in the day, back to Malcolm and Bitsey. Malcolm gets home 10:15. Bitsey's sleeping on the couch, one arm slung out, fingers dragging the floor, and her mouth open in an unattractive way. A dribble of spittle. Jezebel the cat is curled up next to her. Their breakfast dishes are still on the table, and there's an empty whiskey bottle in the kitchen counter, and a glass on the coffee table with half an inch of booze. He doesn't have to look in the laundry room to know the laundry has not been touched.
Wake up, Bitsey.
Oh, it's you.
Of course it's me.
After a lot of prodding from Malcolm, she finally wakes up and goes to the bathroom to wash her face. He wants to scold her about her drinking. He wants to say, "Look at yourself, you look like a tramp. Her hair is a mess. She hasn't changed shirt in 2 days." He wants to shake her and smash her liquor bottle to smithereens. But he's afraid scolding her will only make her defensive and rebellious. She comes out of the bathroom, running her hands through her hair. She wipes her hands dry on the seat of her pants. She says she's hungry. He goes to get cheese and crackers and puts them on a tray. They sit close together on the couch with the snack tray balanced on their laps. He turns on the TV, one of his favorite cop shows on, and they don't say anything else until the commercial comes on.
Where's Molly? Is she in her room?
Molly?
Your daughter? Remember her? Where is she?
How come she's my daughter when she's in trouble? She's your daughter, too. I don't know where she is. I ain't seen hide or hair of her since I don't know when.
You don't know where the hell she is because you're falling down drunk. You're supposed to know where your daughter is. That's your job, damn it. She could be off doing God knows what with God knows who while you're blissfully zonked out on the couch.
I'm not drunk. I just had the one little drink right before you came home.
Bullshit.
I am not drunk.
Yes, you are. You're stinking blotto. Look at this house. It's a disaster. You haven't done a damn thing all day.
I had a bad headache. I took a nap, okay? Sue me.
Malcolm gets up from the couch and storms off to the girl's bedroom. He knocks once, waits a second. When there's no answer, he pushes open the door and sees the room is empty. Jamie Lou's bed is made. Molly's sheets are halfway off on the floor.
She's gone. I guess you wouldn't know if she ever came home. I tried to call her cell phone earlier and she didn't answer.
I tried to call her too.
Yeah, I bet.
God is punishing us. He's taking our children away from us. First Justin and now the girls.
They can't even talk to one another anymore. It's like they're standing on islands in the Gulf shouting at one another, but their words are in different languages and neither one knows what the other is saying. Marcia is now working at Beulah at Little Don's Diner. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, Christmas Day, and there are no customers in the diner. Outside, the rain has stopped and the sun has made an appearance. Marcia's cleaning off the tables and Beulah's noisily washing dishes. From the kitchen, she shouts,
Are you never going to speak to me?
I'll speak to you when I have something to say.
You're acting like I don't even exist. I'm right here. Do you even hear me? See me? Do you know I'm here?
Oh, I'm well aware that you exist, all right. I haven't been able to get your existence out of my mind since I met you.
Really? You haven't?
No, I haven't. Don't you get it?
and again she pauses. And this time she clams up completely as another customer walks in. It's Jimmy Dale Patterson. He tells them that the evangelical preacher Sonny Staples and Malcolm Ashton daughters Molly are both missing. He says folks think they've run off together. The morning news show Back Bay Morning on Channel 7 has reported on the missing couple. The reporter identified Sonny as a 40-something-year-old youth minister at Holy Name Missionary Baptist. Jimmy Dale calls it Brainwash Baptist. And he says Molly was 17 years old. A few other customers come in and they talk about Sonny and Molly. Marcia remains quiet and sullen, which is very much not like her. Eventually, all the customers leave. Marcia steps out for a smoke break, and Beulah scrapes egg residue off the plates and stacks the plates in the dishwasher. When Marcia comes back in, Beulah attempts to talk to her about Sonny and Molly.
They live in my condo. They're neighbors. I can't. Okay, you're still not talking. Something's eating you. What's with the cold shoulder?
It's about that movie. Why in the world would you rent that movie of all movies?
That's it? You're upset about the damn movie? God, gal, I rented it because I thought you'd like it.
Because it's a lesbian skin flick?
No, it's not a... I mean, I didn't know until we played it. I picked it because it's about strong women. It's about track and field, for Christ's sake. You used to run hurdles. Mariel Hemingway runs hurdles in the film. I thought you'd love that.
Can you really be that naive? That track stuff was just an excuse to film a bunch of naked women in a locker room. It's every guy's sick fantasy of hot lesbian sex. Drilling old fat ugly men who can't even get it up.
You must really hate men.
No, I don't. Just certain kinds of men. What I really hate is bi-curious girls who can't even be honest about it.
Bi-curious? Is that even a thing?
Oh yeah, it's a thing, all right. Where did you grow up anyways, in a convent? If you haven't figured it out already, there are a lot of straight girls who think they might be a little bit bisexual. I mean, let's face it. Most of y'all are just a little bit curious, aren't you? You wonder what it would be like to make it with another chick. Hell, there was even a hit song about it not long ago. I hear high school girls were all goo-goo about it. And I guess you're just like all the other bi-curious gals who think lesbians are ripe for playing along because you think we're all sex-starved.
So, you think I want to get into your pants, is that it?
Yes, I do.
Really? Really? And you think I'm stupid enough to think watching lesbians get it on will do the trick?
There you go. You just hit it on the spot.
Come on. Give me some credit. That's an insult to my intelligence.
Maybe I should give you just a tiny bit of credit. I mean, like maybe I should give you the benefit of the doubt. But what do I know about you anyway? How am I supposed to know that you're too smart to pull something like that? We hardly just met.
Hardly just met. Are you out of your mind? We've spent more time together in the past 4 months than most married couples. Well, I've told you things about myself I've never told anyone. I trusted you with the most intimate details of my marriage and my divorce. I did not have such ulterior motives. I'm just not built that way. If I wanted to do something with you, I'd tell you.
Beulah turns to look at the front room, mindful that they are, after all, supposed to be running a business. It'd be really embarrassing if customers popped in and heard them arguing, especially considering what they were arguing about. They walk out in the front and sit in the booth facing each other across the table. Marcia drumming her fingernails on the tabletop. Beulah takes a deep breath. She puts both hands on the table to steady them. Her hands, fingers stiff like white claws, almost touching Marcia's fingers.
If I'd wanted to get into your pants, I'd have told you. And I do.
Both of them are shocked into silence for a long time. Beulah had not meant to say, and I do. But there it was. She'd blurted it out without thinking. She doesn't even know if it's true or not. And now she wonders if Marcia would be right about why she picked that movie. Had she given in to desires she wasn't even aware of? And now that this is out in the open, what next? She picks up the dish towel she had set on the table and wrings her hands on it and throws the towel down and stands up and steps over to the counter and moves around behind it. And Marcia follows her, grabs her by the shoulder, spins her around and kisses her.
Is that what you want? Is that what this is all about?
Yes, damn it!
They throw their arms around each other and kiss long and hard. And while they're locked together, James Littleton and George Matthews step up into the diner. Oops, James says, and he and George both giggle. George puts his hand over his mouth and tries to stifle it. Marcia and Beulah start laughing too, both their faces flaming red. Of all the people to walk in and catch them in a passionate lip lock, none could be safer. Many years ago, George and James had been the only openly gay couple in Booker T. Washington High School. They'd lived together as an openly loving couple for 30 years. "Hey there, girlfriends," James said. "Could we bother you for some coffee and sweet rolls?"